Morning. I understand what's going on the college campuses and also what's happening in Congress. It's dysfunction on a large scale. First, we've forgotten how to educate our kids. We're not giving them geography. We're not teaching history. We're not teaching civics. Nobody's giving them ethics and morals. And so they don't have a true perspective of what's happening in our world. I don't even know if they understand the entire pro-Palestinian protest that they're protesting for. Sure, they see an oppressed people, but they don't know why they're oppressed. All you're doing is you're now pushing the Palestinians in Gaza into the hands of Hamas. You ask the Lebanese Christians if they're happy with Hezbollah. They're not happy with Hezbollah. Not even a little. They don't want to be at war with Israel. And 10 years ago, when I was at the Lebanese border, there was a gondola going up from both countries to see both sides of the divide. There was peace. War is not something that civilized human beings cherish. No, building cities is what people cherish. When I saw a film on NPR last night on Appalachia, building culture is what people cherish. The folks in Appalachia, in order to get out of their addiction problems, they're going to music. They're taking it up. They're making the instruments, and they're combining salsa with bluegrass, and they're creating music. That's civilization. That's liberation of a people. When you're protesting for the pro-Palestinians, I heard some of those protesters. They don't even know what river to what sea. It's the Jordan River and it's the Mediterranean. Israel hasn't been in Gaza in 18 years. In 18 years, Hamas has been a military machine that's keeping the Gaza people impoverished. Not all of them, 50%. 50% lives in abject poverty, considers themselves refugees, has lots of kids, because in 2017, the population of Gaza was 500,000. Here we are, 7 years later, half the population has gone to 2.3 million from 500,000. That's a lot of children. And are they eating? No, because what happens when Hamas is in control? The money goes to Hamas, and it goes to the upper classes who are keeping the refugees down. Ask the Lebanese. They're not happy with Hezbollah in their government. So all you're doing by protesting for pro-Palestinian rights, which you don't know anything about, is you're giving aid and comfort to Hamas and other jihadist groups, and they don't want to give up the hostages now. No, they'd rather see if they could indeed annihilate Israel. Now, you think if they actually get to annihilate Israel, that Israel's going to go quietly? No, they're going to wipe out everything in Gaza. So think what you're doing, think what you're protesting, and maybe identity politics is not enough for us in this country. We really have to be grounded in geography, in history, in civics, how our democracy works, and what borders on civil disobedience, and what's true civil debate, and morals and ethics. You know, Mitch McConnell said pretty much the same thing. He said, we failed in the education system, and we failed big time because the university CEOs and presidents don't know how to behave and don't know about being a neutral space and creating public discourse, a safe space for civility, not for outside provocateurs. I think it's time to get back to education. It's time to start teaching geography, history, civics, ethics, morality, and how to debate subjects, analytical thinking. That's what we need. We got a lot of problems to solve. We got all the solutions right here. We just got to use them. And we got to use our brains to think about anything but our own individual victimhood, and then look at the victimhood of others through our eyes. It doesn't work that way, folks. Instead, you should be saying, Palestinians, you should be rising up and you should be demanding that Hamas start giving you food. Because the food that's going to come into Gaza is not from Hamas. It's from the Americans who are 50% finished with their pier, and it's from the Israelis who are opening up Eretz Crossing. What's Hamas doing for you except bringing you endless war? Well, that's one issue on my mind. The other is, the New York Times had a wonderful article on 12 congressmen who are leaving. 50% Republicans, 50% Democrats. And when asked, what's the problem? To a person, they all said, we're not getting along in Congress. It is dysfunctional. And why is it dysfunctional? There's too much money in Congress. Citizens United has destroyed democracy. There are almost no people running for office who are from the middle and lower classes. Instead, you got to run for Congress and you got to be a money machine. And the money machines don't stop once they get into Congress. Nope. You want to get into a good committee, you got to pay another $250,000. So you are constantly fundraising. And worse, you're only there 4 days a week. Up until the 80s, everyone in Congress lived in Washington, D.C. Their kids went to school together. I say, give everybody $500,000. Let's be reasonable. Raise the salary of the president and the cabinet members, and let everyone live in D.C., work together, and go home for reasonable holidays. You want to take the summer off for 6 weeks? Great. Go home for Christmas and New Year's. Be with your constituents. 27 bills were passed last year. To be making so much money and to have the presidency cost $10 to $12 billion is criminal. Every $1 billion could pay $50,000 a year to 22,000 people. Think of it, folks. Money could be better spent if this was a democracy based on we the people, supported by we the people through our taxes, and that's everyone's taxes, and getting rid of the primaries so that folks can run, and it doesn't matter who they are. If they've got the smarts, let them run, because we need solutions, not stalemates, not gridlock, and not more problems. We gotta go to zero carbon by 2030. We gotta eliminate all of the toxins that we're inhaling and we're eating. There's a lot of work to be done, and nothing will get done if it's left up to the monopolies that control our society, the corporate monopolies. I say, thank God for the NLRB, but it's not enough. So that's on my mind, folks. Take care and have a lovely day. We got solutions, and there's hope.